Hi there, and welcome to the Y Factor podcast.
Wait, sorry, what are we talking about?
The Y Factor podcast. It's where young elected politicians, or YEPs, share how they're making real changes across Europe.
All right, I'm in. Let's hear what the future sounds like.
Welcome to YEPs Underground, the podcast that brings young voices to the heart of Europe. Today, I'm with Lisa Jarmuth, a young elected politician, and she's from Germany. And Lisa worked for the Party of the European Socialists here at the Committee of the Regions. Lisa, thank you for being here with us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited for today's podcast episode.
Great, me too. My first question will be, in order to get to know you a little bit, should we start?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Go. I was wondering, what is your motto in life? Something that guides you inside and outside of politics.
I guess just do it, as I'm thinking about it right now, because when I think about back the adventures I had in the past, I always just went for it, and I guess I had the most of luck doing that. And I guess just by doing things and trying things out, I got the most experience, and that's what I use as a motto for my life.
What a great motto. And I was wondering, when did you first feel European?
I guess it was during high school. We had an exchange program with three nationalities. For one, it was our twin city, Madonna in Latvia. And for the second part, it was Cologne in France. Maybe you have heard about Cologne because one of the members of the PES group, Christophe Rouillon, is actually the mayor and also part of the Committee of the Regions. And it's actually my twin city from my hometown, Bayer. And so we used to meet for many years in a row with those three nations all over Europe, so in Latvia and France and in Germany, and took part in a camp for young people and talked about what unites us, what we can do together, and how we can, well, just become more European, I guess.
Yeah, I see completely what you say. Moving on to the next section, I would like to ask you if you could tell us a little bit more on your political role at the local level and how does it connect with your role here at the European Committee of the Regions?
So in my hometown, I'm a member of the Committee for Sports and Culture. And just recently, I guess it was last year, we got an outdoor gym just next to our town square, I guess it's called in English. And everybody is open to use this outdoor gym all year round. And it's super cool because it's free, it's accessible for everyone and inclusive. And actually, just in September of last year, I was invited to speak at the SEDEC Commission of the Committee of the Regions on how sports affects our life and that it's necessary that sports becomes inclusive for everyone. And so that both fits perfectly together because then first we implemented this outdoor gym in my hometown and just a couple of months later I was allowed to talk about my experience with those things in the SEDEC Commission. So that was pretty cool actually.
Of course, I use an outdoor gym as well in my city. So, I think it's really interesting to know about this project. Talking about project and initiative, could you share with us a project or initiative you've been involved in that has an impact on your community?
I guess one of the projects could be that we have a roundtable against right extremism in my hometown, and we work here together on this table with all parties being in our local parliament, because as of right now we don't have far-right parties in our local parliament, which is pretty great for us. But we work together to see how we can help people looking for help in our hometown, like refugees who are seeking for help, and how we can help them to integrate in our hometown. And I guess this is what brings me the most joy, working on this roundtable, helping people seeking help and just trying to make their lives a little bit easier.
And talking about help, Young people today are facing a growing range of social challenges, including mental health struggles, limited access to housing, and the pressure to secure a stable future in an uncertain world. And at the same time, many feel that their voices are not heard in political spaces, for example, and that they are underrepresented in decisions that impact their lives. So with this in mind, we'd love to hear your experience and insights on how young people are navigating these challenges, working to build more inclusive communities, as you were saying before, and advocating for a stronger voice in shaping the future of Europe.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of like at a breakthrough right now that more young people and people of all genders and of all social economic backgrounds are being part of parliaments. And I'm lucky to say that I'm one of, I believe, 5 young politicians in my hometown. So we have quite some, which is pretty great, but still not enough. And also when I look in our local parliament, I only see white people. So there's a lot of ethnic backgrounds missing, and so we are missing views on certain topics, which is pretty sad. So I guess we all have to work together to bring forward that we have equal distribution of women, that we have people from all economic backgrounds in those parliaments. And I guess as young socialists, we try to promote these things, to bring them forward.
So, Lisa, you were talking about gender representation in politics. What do you personally believe are the key structural barriers women face when pursuing political leadership, and how can these obstacles be overcome?
I often feel that the voices of women are not being heard because politics are, of course, or not of course, but in the past have been pretty much represented by white old men. We have the problem that they, of course, don't want to hear, or mostly don't want to hear, the voices of women. So it's important to stay focused and always to make sure that you're being heard. If that means you sometimes have to disrupt white old men while they're talking in politics and about topics they don't really actually know things about, then I guess that's an important thing to do. And also make sure that you unite with other women being part of politics, even if that means being united across political parties, because we have to empower ourselves, because I guess no one else is going to be doing that for us. And in my political party, we actually, or in my area, we have a mentoring program. So I used to have a female mentor when I started in politics in my hometown, and she is being active in politics for over 50 years now, and thus she has so many experiences in fighting for the rights for women and for being heard. And so she gave us some tips that actually helped sometimes. And I guess like mentoring programs with women who have been active for many years can help in promoting that we're being heard.
Yes, I think it's really important. Talking about this subject, the EU promotes gender equality and social inclusion, but challenges, as you were saying, still exist. And in your opinion, how can the EU, together with local and regional authorities, address the issue faced by women, LGBTQIA+ individuals, and other marginalized groups, especially in areas like political representation, equal opportunities, and social inclusion?
I think in order for everyone to be represented in politics, we need some kind of gender quotas, and also committees that address those issues. I guess it would be great to have a committee on based on gender, LGBTQ rights, and integration, but I guess it's still missing in some kind of parts. So that would be great, like that every municipality would implement such a committee. And also, as I can speak of my hometown, we have in our committees, we have people additionally being member of those committees, so they can bring their viewpoints into our committee, so we can make sure that their voices are being heard too.
Yes, it is extremely important. I'd like to talk about some initiative because you were starting a little bit about this subject. I'd like to ask you about a recent initiative urging European Commission to implement a binding ban on conversion practices targeting LGBTQIA plus individuals across the EU. These harmful practices aimed at changing or repressing sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression are recognized by the UN as forms of torture. While some countries have already enacted bans, the EU has to take decision about this. So given this context, what do you believe is the potential impact of initiatives like this one? And do you think this could be a significant step forward? Or does the EU need a different approach to address this issue? According to you, what is the solution?
I guess implementing such an act would be really important for the European Union, and it's going to be implemented in all the member states of the EU, because I guess everybody should live how they want to live, especially when it comes to their identity. And I guess everybody should be able to love whoever they want to be loving. And we're living in the 21st century, so of course such an act should not be in question if it should be implemented. Rather, it should have been implemented yesterday. So I'm really hoping that such an act is going to be there soon for the rights of the people of our LGBTIQ community.
I hope too. I think it is really important. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your valuable insight with our listeners. And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to learn more about Lisa's work, you'll find more information in the episode description. Stay tuned for more conversations with inspiring young elected politicians. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Make sure to catch our next episode to discover who will be joining us with our new hosts. Thank you again, Lisa, for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you. Goodbye.
Thank you.